Hey everybody, I am so excited for the new Dragonfire action card that we just got revealed, I think today. I got a couple shout outs to Joshua who actually told me this. It was like 10 a.m. I had a really busy morning. I didn't even see this, and he said like, "Oh, there's a new card." I was like, "New card?" So I hadn't even checked Twitter or anything yet. So shout outs to Joshua and shout outs to Lorcana.com. This site's awesome. You can start adding your collection. They have information. Just like be part of this site because once the game comes out, it's going to be huge. And citizens of Lorcana Twitter, thanks for just always posting quickly and just having fun. The memes are great. I'm having a lot of fun on Twitter right now with Lorcana stuff. So let's just look at the card. I have a couple things to show. Dragonfire. So the big thing for me, about 2 months ago, I posted a video like called the +1 theory, and it was kind of my idea of how they calculate how good a card is and kind of how to balance the game. Like anytime you're making a card game, like things need to be balanced. You can't have a card with like 100 power that costs 1 and then a card that costs 100 for 1 power. It's just not balanced. So I had a theory, the +1 theory. I made this quick Google sheet. I'll share it in the comments so you can make a copy of it. And now that we have this new card, I was able to fill out the formula completely and kind of test it. So we have Dragonfire, banish chosen character. It has a 5 cost. If we look at Maleficent, she has the same ability. When you play this character, you may banish chosen opposing character. So some things we didn't know is how valuable is this ability? Is it worth to say it's a 9-drop? Is that ability worth a 9-cost card? The other thing I really, really wanted to know is how much these little diamonds or lore or pips, I don't know what we're calling them, but how valuable these are. Because if we could calculate how valuable those are, then we know like, oh, is Mickey actually really good? And then that can help us calculate, oh, how good is Evasive actually? Is this 8 for 5/5 with 4 lore good? And I kind of had a theory, but I couldn't fully test it out until now because we know that banishing a chosen character is worth about 5 or worth exactly 5 resources. So does this 5 resources fit well into this 9-drop? So I made this spreadsheet. It has the cost of the card, it has the total stats, and so that would be you add up the like attack and defense or power and defense to get total stats. The next is the lore, the little diamonds. How many are there? And I wasn't sure if they'd be worth each one, just based off of the Maleficent information. I think they're about worth 1 point. Ability value. So this is kind of hard to calculate, and without having Maleficent, now that we have her, we know her ability is worth about 5 points. So that can help us calculate like how much is Evasive worth, now that we kind of have a standard here. And then if they have a second ability, how much that is worth. And then the total here, we use that to calculate the total value. And then it's just the total minus the score is the total value. So I'm going to explain this. It might be boring. Like if you're not really into like game design and, you know, kind of like card games that are already out, the market kind of says how good a card is sometimes. There's not like the best card in the game is like very cheap, but this is a way kind of how I think that the developers are balancing the game. They know how much a card should cost. They know if combining Evasive with too many stats is like overpowered. So the value, the higher the value, the better. And I kind of did this like heat mapping kind of to show value. But let's... this is going to be so long. Sorry, guys. This is going to be a long video to kind of explain everything. We have Maleficent here. It's a 9-cost card. The total stats are 12. I think it's 5 and 7. Let's look. Or 7 and 5. So 7 attack, 5 defense. The lore, she has 2 stars there. Ability value, we know it's 5 because if we look at this Dragonfire card, we know banishing a chosen character in Lorcana is worth 5 resources. Exactly on here, maybe it varies depending on other factors, but right now, banishing a chosen character is worth 5. So we can actually input 5 right here. Second ability, she doesn't have one. Total, so the total of B, C, D, E, the total stats, lore, and abilities is 19. And the score we have is 19. So this is why I call it the +1 theory. My idea is that when you pay for a card, like a 9 cost, to figure out what the score is, you multiply it by 2 and add +1. So that's why it's called the +1 theory. And I think, like, for balancing, a card needs to have at least the total of all the stats and abilities and pips needs to equal to the score to have the value be like a kind of a break even point. So if you're really below this, then the card's not as good. If you're really above it, the card's good. I don't know if that's making sense, but cost times 2 plus 1, so that would be 19. That's why I call it the +1, because it's always the cost times 2 plus 1, and that's going to give us our score. So with her, we can see that her 9 cost is fair. Like that makes sense. Everything seemed balanced. The ability is worth 5. We've seen on another card. If the ability costs 6, this would be -1. If this card was like 6, then that would make Maleficent +1, so make it even better. And if this card was like a 1 cost or free or something like that, then Maleficent wouldn't be as good, because you're paying more than the value of the abilities and stats. So the next one to look at that we kind of know pretty well is Captain Hook. And Captain Hook, you guys have heard these cards a million times, but Challenger, Challenger is +2. +2 when challenging this card gets +2 attack. So let's input it in. So ability value, we know that stats are each worth 1. So the ability value of Captain Hook, I'm just going to kind of type this in and fill it. If he's attacking, he gets +2. So his ability value is 2. And we know it's 2 because it's 2 stats. My theory behind this is if you have something, you need to calculate the value times the odds that it's going to happen. And on Captain Hook, you only can do it when you're attacking, so the odds of it happening are only on your attacking turn, so it's about 50% because you're either attacking or defending. So you want to take the value times the odds. So this would actually be a 1 because 50% chance times 2, it's 1. So that's what the ability value is. And you have to kind of calculate this in your head and then, input it. And, it's not like 100%. It's just kind of how I think they're balancing the game. So Captain Hook's a 1 cost. He has 3 stats. He has 1 attack and 2 defense. So we put 3 in here. He has 1 lore. His ability value is 1 because it gives him 2 stats times the odds, which is half the time he can use it. So that's why I'd put 1 here. He doesn't have a second ability. His total is 5. So all of the things he gets, all the good things he gets, add up to 5. And his score is 3. Maybe I shouldn't call it score. I'm not sure what to call this. But that is this number, the cost times 2 plus 1. So he needs at least 3 total value to get to the score, but since he's above that, we get a bonus here. So this value is +2, so that's really good. Man, if this isn't making any sense or boring to you guys, you can just download the spreadsheet and have fun, but it's really interesting to me. And the example is, there's like an example if you played Hearthstone, Chill Wind Yeti, it's a 4 cost. I'm just going to enter it here. And then its total stats is 9 because it has 4 attack and 5 health. It doesn't have any abilities. So its total is 9. And then its score, it should be or it's 9 also because it's cost times 2 plus 1 theory, so 9. So Chillwind, Yeti, and Hearthstone is just like a normal average card. This is where you what you want to see. All cards should kind of just be at 0, and then if you want it a little better, a little worse, then you make your adjustment. So the thing that's exciting about this is we can start. I always wondered like how valuable the Mickey Mouse card is and how valuable evasive is. Now we're not sure yet, but I think that evasive is going to be pretty good because if I we know Mickey costs 8, his total stats are 10. He's a 5/5. He has 4 here. I put his ability value at 2, so I'm saying I think evasive is worth about 2 points. If I put evasive at 2, um, that puts his total at 16. And he should be at, for, cost times 2 plus 1 should be at least 17. So if evasive is only worth 2, he's at a -1. So that's sad for me because I want him to be like really, really good. I want him to be busted, especially because like we have the Mickeys. Like I really like this card. I hope it's good. But if we value evasive at 2, then it's saying off all of his stats he's not that good. So then does that mean he should be a 0? So evasive should be worth 3 points. It's kind of hard to say. As we get more abilities revealed, like we got this revealed, we can kind of see where evasive should be at. So that's basically how it works. Like Stitch, here's a good example. He's a 6-drop. He's a 4/4. He has 3 lore here. His first ability, he has the shift ability, which reduces his cost. So this is kind of where like we don't know exactly yet, but you could say, oh, it's worth 2 because it reduces the cost by 2. I think since you at least have to play 1 card, which at least probably has a 1 cost, I thought that it's not that first ability isn't worth 1 resource. It's close or worth 2. It's closer to worth 1. Then the second ability, drawing multiple cards. How much is that worth? Also, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I put it at 2 right now. It's speculation at this point. The only one we're 100% sure on is Maleficent because we saw the same ability card or action card. It costs 5 and it's matches what her ability does. So we can get that precisely. And it makes sense that our value would be 0 here. It's a break-even value. Let's see. Robin Hood. Is he a 6? Yeah, he's a 6 cost with 4/4 stats. He has 2, and he has 2 lore and 2 abilities. So we can, and he also has evasive that can kind of help us decide evasive. So total stats 4/4. He's 8. He has 2 lore. Ability value. He has 2 abilities. One is draw a card if you have less cards. So I don't know if that's like a 50-50 thing, but I just put 1. It's about worth 1. His second ability is evasive when he is, I think if he's the attacker. So if evasive is only worth 2, then Robin Hood is not that. He's a below average card, a -1. If evasive is higher than that, then we'll know. If there's some kind of action card that gives a card evasive and has a cost, then we can that'll help us calculate exactly what it is. If, like, for example, putting evasive on let's say you can make a character evasive and it costs 6, let's say. If that's the case, then that makes Mickey, if we'll do it on Mickey. If turning your character to an evasive character costs 6, that would put Mickey at like a 3. If it's 1, it's a 1 cost, then Mickey's like at a -2. So figuring out how much evasive is worth is going to be like a really big deal. Like I said, this will be, you can download a copy of this and just kind of goof around and just kind of see what things are. For me, like Elsa, I was like, I don't know if this card's any good. And like, how good is freeze? Exert chosen opposing character. So we can kind of see how high they value Elsa. So we have her card cost is 3, total stats is 5, and 1 lore. And then I'm just saying freezing a character is worth 1. If there's a spell card or action card that freezes and it costs 1, that seems pretty good, and that would put Elsa at, the average. It's not good, not bad. Like, it's just right in the middle. If freezing a character costs 2, then that makes Elsa better. So it all depends on this ability value. And even if it's not a number, like someone was asking, like, how do we say how much ability value is if it's not a number? Like here, it's a 5 cost banish chosen character. Like, this isn't actually a stat boost. Like, it's not giving them 10 stats. Like, that's easy to calculate. But knowing what it does, and we have its cost, we can kind of say, well, banishing a chosen character is worth 5 resources. So evasive, even though it's not a number, we can say evasive is worth, X amount of resources. And that's what the calculator can do, is kind of uncover, how good a card is. Because if there's like a 1 cost and it has, 50 stats, it's like this card's a 47 value. Like, this is super, super busted. Like, we can just type into the calculator and see. But if, so you can kind of see if the cost then cost 10 and the stats are 2, like this is a negative 19. The ability better be like really, really, really good. Like, you want the card to be in 0. The average, every card I think that's developed, they're, trying to get it to 0, where your, costs and the abilities break even. So you'd want like 4 stars on here. We're still minus 15. This card really stinks. Then we need like a really good power. Like, I don't know, win the game. Like, let's say if you play this card, you win the game. Then like, you can see, 85. This card's busted. That's, I don't know, the whole idea behind it. It's just fun to kind of like play around with. You can see how good a card is, and it's obviously like very baseline. And some cards are, obviously going to be better than others. Just off this, we can see that Hook is, a really good card, even with just getting plus 1 ability value, because it's stats divided by 2. Like, he's at a 2. Like, this is right now one of the best cards. So all of the cards I've been looking at all this time, like, I was kind of thinking about this formula, but finally today we see that action Dragonfire. We can kind of put it all into motion and really like test it, like, since we have 1 card's real cost. Eventually we can fill all this in and know, pretty quickly how good a card is. I don't have like rarity or anything in here. I'm just looking solely off gameplay. Like, there could be, a card that's -2 like Mickey, but it's still like ultra rare. Like, just because it has a good value doesn't mean it's like popular or good in game. Well, let me rephrase that. If it has a good value, this is for gameplay only, not for collectability or cost value. I need to change some of these words. Score and value will really mess everybody up, but I was just kind of quickly doing this. So if you get a better version, or some cool names, let me know in the comments. Just let me know what you're thinking. This is already like close to 20 minutes. I guess I haven't even officially ended it yet, but I'll quickly show the formulas. I think I move this into, I usually use Excel. The total is literally just adding up. It's just, the sum of these 4 spots, B, C, D, and E. That's all total is. Score is just this column A. It's times 2 plus 1, plus 1 theory. So the score is cost times 2 plus 1. Value is literally just subtracting the score from the total. So the higher the value, the better. And that's all it is. I mean, it's super simple, just kind of basic game design balancing. Uh, Games that are unbalanced, they'll have an ability value that's like a 10 and a really low cost, and you're like, that's obviously unbalanced. This is kind of just the baseline negotiating for making any card. Um, so yeah, play around with it. Let me know if you have questions. I'm really excited. I'm gonna make a ton of more videos kind of about this because I've been, kind of on my own, just thinking about this in the background. Like I made that +1 video a couple months ago, like I said. But having this one value, seeing, oh, banishing a chosen character is worth 5. Like that's so huge. Kind of to just look at every other card and kind of think about it. And as more cards come out, we'll know even better. Um, and kind of I use this kind of to like rate cards before, even though I always gave Mickey like higher score because I think Evasive's gonna be closer to like really good. I think it's gonna be really really good. Um, I hope Mickey's good. Right now, if you just give Evasive's worth 1, Mickey's not that good. Even though it's my favorite card. But obviously Hook is really good because he's cheap and has a really good score, or a really good total. Um, so it gets him at a +2. Surprisingly, Cruella DeVille, because the only thing she has is ability value of 1, and the ability could be better than that actually. This is better than I thought. Cruella's better than I thought. Elsa's about where I thought because I don't think freezing a character is that awesome. I mean, once we find out more gameplay, like if games are over in like 5 turns, freezing a character might be like the best thing ever. But I just don't think freezing's going to be more than 1. Banishing a whole character just off the board, boom, we know that's worth 5. Like we have a card to prove it with. So Maleficent being right here makes perfect sense to me. This is exactly what I wanted to see. If this would have cost, like if it was 4, I could see that, like, but 5 is like breaking even or whatever. Hitting 0 here is exactly what I want to see. Basically on all the cards, I want really close to 0. To like know this is working. If it was way off, then I'd think I'd be way off. But at least for these 7 cards, I think the +1 theory, cost times 2 + 1, is about what it should be. So yeah, if you guys think of better like total score and value, that's probably garbage terminology. Let me know if you think of something else. But yeah, I'll just end it here. I'm gonna have a bunch more videos coming. Even though like actually holidays are better for me because I can sit in front of the computer more. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks again to all of the YouTube and Twitter people out there. I definitely say hi on the socials. It's really fun. We're having fun. There's memes going everywhere every day. Like meeting a lot of new people. I just joined a new Discord that I should have already been in. Disney, I don't even know, it's called Lorcana, Disney Lorcana HQ. Really good one. I will be hanging out in the chat actually once in a while, or in voice. So if you see me in there, come say hi. Let me know what's going on. But yeah, we'll end it there. We'll bug you guys later.